Hello everybody, this is Dr. Carmen Bryant. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you for all the new subscribers that have come to the channel. There is a plethora of videos that I have made, so some of the questions that you may have, if you scroll through the videos, I may have answered it. If I did not answer it clearly or you wanted me to elaborate on it, please take the opportunity to let me know. And I'll go back. I have went back and revisited some topics as we begin to learn, as you guys share your stories. But I thank you guys so much. We are 10,000 strong and growing, and thank you guys, because you guys made it happen. And I make the videos, you share the videos, and then we grow our tribe so we can get this information out there. For those of you that are new, that do not know, this is my book. It's Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. This is a friend of mine's book. I asked her to let me borrow it because I was going to write in it too. I was going to write her a love letter. But this is my book. So if you have not had the opportunity, go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble. You can get the ebook, you can get the Kindle book, or you can get a hard copy, the hardback, or you can get the soft copy, this right here. It's only $12.95. It's a really great investment. I remember going in, and I had to go back and, well, the editor sent it to me, and so I went back and revised some things. And so even though the stories are told about women, I went in to make sure I included men. Now, I know I didn't say that before. I had to go through my own book and look through it, but I went in there and I also discussed how I have witnessed how women talk to men, how women have treated, how I've watched women treat men, or even how they have treated their sons, you know, how men and women were treated. But I did address men in this book as well. A lot of the stories, though, are from the women and how they were, you know, manipulated, how the children were abused, how they were groomed, or how they were, you know, abused in childhood that made them susceptible to a narcissistic relationship. But I also encourage men and women alike. It is a Christian book. However, for those of you that are not believers, it's okay. Take the principles out. I promise you, you will find yourself in this book. And the reason why I wrote this book first is because we talk about narcissist abuse a lot. You know, we describe it, we talk about it on videos. So I wanted to present to you, these are real stories. So those of you that are asking, are these real people? The names have been changed, but these are real people with real stories. These are real events that actually happened. And these are the stories from these individual people about what happened to them and what they were thinking and what was going on through their mind. It even includes suicide and homicidal thoughts. You know, it includes, you know, the supply, the gaslighting, all the scenarios that we talked about. You actually will see it in this book played out. So we can talk about it, but here you can see it in the lives of these women. So you can like, oh, that's gaslighting. Oh, that right there, that's new supply. Oh, that right there is, you know, the flying monkeys. You know, so we can talk about it, I can describe it, you can define it, but when you see it actually play out, you can see your story in this book. I promise you, you will find your story in this book somewhere. Now, some of you, your stories are longer, but, you know, these are just some simple stories, but it does give you an idea and some encouragement on your situation. And for those that are believers, encouragement on who you are and how much God loves you, and to change the way that you think about yourself. So I did even talk about some of the experiences that I've had when it came to witnessing this. As you know, I am a clinician, so to witness it, or even to witness it when I was in the military, some of the things that I've witnessed, and some of the things that I've witnessed when women were attacking men, you know. And so please take the opportunity to go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble, pick up a copy for a friend. You never know who's going through this. You never, even your children, you never know your adult kids who are going through this. Teenagers, give it to the teenagers so they can see what this looks like. And they'll know, but once you give them information, it helps them to identify behavior. I had a lady, because I go visit a 7-Eleven right around the corner from my job, well, my office, and her 12-year-old, I think she's 12 or 13, she says she's pretty mature, but she ordered the book, and the 12-year-old, I think she's 13, took the book with her to camp. And she was reading the book, and she said that she understands, it's a very simple read, but she understood the book. And I said, believe it or not, you're interjecting and you're introducing her to information that she did not have available at one point in time. When you introduce, a lot of us did not have this information. A lot of us did not get this information even in our youth. And so she was reading the book. She's only 12, 13 years old. She's reading the book, but she understands, and she's talking to her mother about it. And so for your teenagers, let your teenagers, if they they like reading, you know, you make them read. But teenagers, let them read this book, because it gives them an idea of relationships, the way that they'll recognize some things that they may be going through or have been through. You know, you never know what your teenager has been through, you know, especially if they're coming from, you know, if one of the parents is a narcissist, you know. But this right here will teach them and help them interject some information where they'll become more aware. So thank you guys so much for supporting me. It is Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. Go order a copy. You guys know what the cover looks like. Amazon and Barnes & Noble. So today I wanted to come and I wanted to talk about, do all narcissists cheat? You know, most of you guys are like, yes, yes. And I had to think about how I was going to respond to that. I wanted to say yes and no at the same time. So let's look at the two different types of narcissists and just revisit that for a minute. So you have the cerebral narcissist and you have the somatic narcissist. And those of you that don't know the difference or do know the difference, cerebral narcissists are those that use their intellect. Can the two fluctuate? Yes. You know, they're the, you know, you do have the narcissists that are both cerebral and cerebral and somatic. At particular times, you know, one may be dominant over the other depending on what they're trying to do. And a lot of the somatic narcissists, sometimes the ones that are into their looks, physique, they do plastic surgery, they're always into, you know, appearances, you know, those are the ones that, if given the opportunity and placed in a position of power, you know, they'll use the cerebral part of their narcissist in order to blend in with you know, their environment. Cerebrals normally are not really interested in their looks, or not really interested in sex the way that a somatic is, but a cerebral will use sex if that is a way of pulling you in. They're not super interested in it though, as much as you are, but if that's your weakness, or if that is something that you have, they look at it as a weakness. It may not be a weak, because everybody needs love, you know, and if you're in a relationship, you know, if you're married, so, you know, and remember, I'm a believer, so, but to each his own, that when you're in a relationship, you know, sex is an important part of the relationship. And so, but to a cerebral narcissist is not. It's important to you, and so they'll use that as a tool, as a weapon to pull you in. And then the cerebral, you know, if they know what they're doing, if they're good at what they do, and you enjoy, or they get off on your enjoyment, but they're not really into sex like that, but that is the way that they pulled you in. That is the way that they hooked you, by using sex, but to them is irrelevant. And eventually you'll see that it's irrelevant. So now let's look and see. So I went to learning-mind.com. So this is the learningmind.com, and this is written by, let's see who this is written by. Let me make sure I give proper credit. It doesn't say who the article is written by. So just go to learning, is www.learning-mind.com, cerebral-somatic narcissist. So this here, what is a cerebral or somatic narcissist? So let's look and see here. Okay, so let me scroll down. Psychological studies on narcissism have divided narcissists into two types, cerebral and somatic. And remember, they can't have both traits. Cerebral narcissists use their brain and intelligence to impress those around them, while somatic narcissists use their body, or soma, from the Greek, the ancient Greek, and word means body. Let's see here. So there are some psychologists that believe that you're either one or the other, and others that think narcissists can switch between the two states. Narcissists can switch between the two states. I know that for a fact because I was married to one that switched between the two states. And the dominant one was usually, well, both really switch between the two states. So how do you know the difference? Okay, so a cerebral narcissist uses their mind to prove their uniqueness, highly intelligent, huge ego, grandiose achievements, holds positions of power and authority, and they're not really interested in sex. So a cerebral narcissist will either be highly intelligent or they pretend to be. So a lot of cerebral narcissists are well educated. They hold positions where thought, engineers, so some of them are very well educated and are very intelligent. And do remember that the spectrum of narcissism from low to high spectrum, which is called the greater narcissist, the greater narcissists are usually very calculative, very, very smart. Intelligent, when I say intelligent, meaning very calculated in everything they do. They study. A lot of them are educated, very, very good at what they do, and very, very good at hiding who they are. But they know exactly who they are. And so sometimes Cerebral, they're greater, very intelligent, very educated, very calculated, they think everything through. They in 3D, they think everything out and the results of what's going to happen. It's almost like they trap you. They know how to trap you, create a trap to trap you. So whichever way you go, you will be trapped in this maze that they have created to torment you, because they want fuel. So let's see. And then some of them, they study big words. They sound really, really intelligent. But when you put the words in context of what they're saying, they're about as dumb as a rock. You can ask them a question like, do I go left or right? And by the time they get through telling you all these big, giant words, it's like a word salad. They give you these big words and everything. You're like, left or right? You still didn't answer the question. So let's see. So the one thing that Cerebral, the one thing that they want praise for is their amazing intellect, and to them their body is merely an inconvenience. Cerebral narcissists hold positions of high power, authority, where they have great responsibility. They're able to convince others to do what they want because of their supreme self-confidence. They surround themselves with people who are likely to be pushovers. They consider themselves to be godlike and untouchable when it comes to the law. So they know the law better than the lawyers do, and they've never been to law school. They will interpret the law. They will tell the lawyers and the judges what the law says, though they've never been to law school. But they know the law better than anybody else knows the law. And so a lot of times they end up going under the radar because it's just chaos in the courtroom. It's chaos, because they know more than the court system does. Eventually it blows up in their face. You see Ted Bundy, right? Even to the day before his execution, he still was running off at the mouth because he's a narcissist. Let's see. And as a matter of fact, before I continue, one of the subscribers sent me a video. I want you guys to go look at it. Some of you guys may have seen it. It's called Dirty John. That is a somatic cerebral narcissist. The most dangerous type, because he was a malignant narcissist, meaning antisocial personality or psychopath, sociopath. But go watch that. It's Dirty John. It's on YouTube, Dirty John. That is a bad case, a horrible case. And so that's why I try so hard to make sure that I educate you guys and not to go back, because this right here was a horrible. And thank you for the subscriber that sent it to me. So the cerebral narcissist will want to dazzle you with their academic achievements, their command of English language, and their scholarly intelligence. To them, the mind is everything, and their bodies just get in the way, which a lot of times make them celibate. They choose to be celibate because sex is not a big thing to them. The only reason why they use sex may be for a weapon to pull you in. Once they got you locked in, is very irrelevant, and they mess your mind up because they use intelligence and intellect, and they confuse you, and they use gaslighting. And so a lot of you guys are, said my mind is messed up. Yes, because they knew how to get into your thoughts. And when they get into your thoughts, which once they release words, it creates images in your head, and those images create words out of your mouth, but also goes into your heart and becomes truth to you. So they know what they're doing. And so a somatic narcissist, on the other hand, uses their body to prove their uniqueness. Their body is everything. Their looks is everything. That's why somatic narcissists do not age very well at all. Obsessed with looking good, always look immaculately dressed, may have cosmetic surgery. You see them women with the big fish lips about as big as their face, or their facelifts so tight that their eyes are back by their ears, or they've got forehead all the way in the middle of their, you're like, oh my gosh, hair implants for the men, or pectoral implants. I mean, it's just a hot mess. They get pectoral implants. One guy looked like he had breasts. So, surgery gone wrong, but they really mess up their beautiful looks. Those that are very attractive a lot of times end up messing up their good looks, but they're very vain, very vain. Embark on intense fitness regimes, extremely active and sexually. So a lot of them are very promiscuous. Those are the ones that for a fact are always cheating. When they're looking for secondary sources of supply, when they're out, they use sex, and they use their looks. They use, their perceived wealth, You know, everything is about perception, everything is about looks, everything is about showing out, everything is about impressing, you know, and that's how they draw people to them, males and females alike. Excuse me. Somatic narcissists are obsessed with their body, how good looking they are, how attractive they look, what they can do with it. The somatic narcissist will take every opportunity to flaunt their body in order to accept forthcoming compliments. They look for these compliments. They need these compliments. They use sex. So they can be horrible in bed, but they'll impress you and make you think, girl, I'll make love to you all night long. So those of you that are mature know that scientifically that's impossible unless you high on crack or cocaine or something. But, you know, for us mature women's and men's, and some men have said it, you know, that's impossible. That is not true. So for young folks, you know, when a man or you know, a lot of times it's the men that do it. I'm sorry, my brothers. You know, girl, I'll make love to you all night long. That's a lie. And you tell them that's a lie. Scientifically, that is impossible, you know. So that's a lie. So you guys have to mature with that, okay? Or you hear them say, girl or dude, you know, you don't know what I can do to you. Honey, by the time I get through showing you all these bills, I'm going to show you what all I can do to your bank account. You won't be sexually attracted to me at all. Now, that's for the mature. That's for the grown folks, okay? So, let's see here. A somatic narcissist will brag about their his or her sexual conquest, but will always interpret any kind of behavior from others as an invitation to have sex with them. So anything that another person does, you know, well, you know, she's trying to get with me, or he's trying to get with me. You know, everyone always do that. You know, they just can't accept me for being beautiful. Everybody always wants my body. They always want, you know, I can't help it, you know, that I look like this. I was just gifted like this, but no one can respect me for who I am. But you look like a gorilla. So what are you talking about? And you guys have met people like that, and you're looking like, are you serious? Everybody wants you? Or, you know, women that are fighting over their men, you know, I know everybody wants him. Or men fighting over their women, everybody wants them. Nobody wants that cockatoo but you, because you're messed up in your head now. You've addicted to this individual. Everybody don't see that person like you see him. Okay, so how do cerebral and somatic narcissists manipulate people? Okay, so you know both of them manipulate to get what they want. The cerebral narcissist uses their mind, and a somatic narcissist uses their body. We just said that. So cerebral narcissists, they'll bind you with their intelligence and brain power in order to exert power over you. They want to make you feel dumb. They want to make you feel unintelligent, and it feels good to be with someone that intelligent. They will use complicated language or unfamiliar words to confuse you so they can manipulate you. They will appear to be extremely intelligent and untouchable, and we use their appearances to intimidate you. And use this appearance to intimidate you. Somatic narcissists will use their appearance to exert control over you. They may use the fact that they're beautiful or handsome to get their own way. They will draw you in at first with you believing you are lucky to be dating someone so gorgeous and beautiful as me. You've never had anybody like me before. You know it and I know it. And then once they have had enough, they drop you without a word. They discard you. So let's see. So there are researchers that believe that narcissists share both cerebral and somatic narcissists. Somatic and cerebral traits. They do. One is dominant while the other one is submissive, depending on the narcissist's circumstances. They either use the cerebral part of their narcissism or somatic part. So they know when to turn it on and off. A somatic narcissist, because they are so into their looks, it doesn't matter. They always are somatic. They will always use their looks. Now, they'll use their looks even when they have to switch over and use the cerebral, use their intelligence. They're still using their looks. So it doesn't matter. Remember I said before that they don't care. They don't care about crossing sexual boundaries, you know, and some of them that are heterosexual will cross boundaries into homosexual relationships or lesbian relationships to get what they want. So they will even try to woo, you know, same sex, you know, a male or a female. You know, they don't have a problem with crossing lines depending on how desperate they are for that fuel. And so meaning that they'll look good for a male or they'll look good for a female or both. It doesn't matter. And at the same time, if they notice that the look part is not working, then they'll throw in the cerebral. You know, so they know how to shut it on and off. And really, they're not really shutting it on and off. They're vacillating between the two to see which bait are you going to bite? You know, they put the hook out there to see which one are you going to bite, and then that's the one that they'll use the most. You know, they're always, and then, you know, they'll always, especially if they're attaching to someone that is academically, you know, astute, you know, in a career field that is very intelligent, or, you know, they will exert that intelligence, even if they're not at the level of the person that they're pursuing. They will try to make it sound like, they try to look like, they try to look the part, they try to sound the part. And eventually you'll find out that none of this is, like I said, go watch that, the YouTube Dirty John. He tried to present himself something that he was not. He tried to present himself like he was a anesthesiologist, and he was not. He was a nurse. But people believed him. Whether someone is cerebral or somatic, they both try to manipulate you and deceive you in order to get what they want. And so now the question is do they both cheat? Well, number one, a somatic narcissist depends solely on their looks, appearance, you know, their sexuality, what they can do in bed, what they can do to you, how they can do what they do. And so a lot of times you'll notice that the conversations are very, or even the way that they handle you, or the way that they look at you, everything is very sexual, and everything is about their looks and looking good, and they go to great extent, or great lengths. There we go. They go to great lengths to make sure that they impress you by what you see. And so when they go look for secondary sources of supply, when they're out on their supply run, like we say in the military, when supply goes out on their supply run, you know, they're going to get supply. The main hook and you know, the main bait that they use is their looks and sex. And so they will, you know, in their mind, they're the greatest lovers that ever walked the face of this earth long before dinosaurs. And so they will use sex to draw you in, to pull you in. And so that's why I tell you guys, don't be so desperate to jump in bed with someone, because a narcissist will use that to pull you in. They'll do incredible feats and acrobatic acts in the bedroom in order to pull you in. And some of you guys are upset, be like, you know, they had me believing that they were just, you know, a porn star. You find out that they were, I don't know what they were, I don't even have a joke for that one, but you find out that they were amateurs. You knew more than they did, you know, and now you're upset. But what they'll do is, you know, if it doesn't work that way and they know that you're going to cause a narcissistic injury, they'll smear you before you get an opportunity to smear them, because you know their secrets. So they'll go talk about you long before you have an opportunity to talk about them, or laugh at them in their face and call them names, or cause a narcissistic injury. By then they've already started a smear campaign. They've already started it, because they actually, on the inside, they know. And so they already prepare for the punch. And so just be prepared. You know, a cerebral, on the other hand, even if they are married, their fuel comes from thought. You know, so they need people to tell them how great they are, how intelligent they are. So they are on the hunt for that mind fuel, you know, so they connect with people to get, so not all narcissists actually cheat, depending on which is their dominant trait. Not all narcissists are both somatic and cerebral. Some are either or, and some both, you know, both traits, you know, depending. And so there are those that use sex, but even a cerebral will use sex to pull you in. Even a cerebral will, you know, that's not something that's not their primary, that's not really what they're interested in, but they'll use it as a weapon to get you hooked to them. And then of course it doesn't matter after that, you know. And so yes, some of them do, but not all narcissists cheat. So, you know, it depends on the type of fuel that they need. And you know, so I always say this, and some of you say the same thing, you know, even, you know, having an affair or cheating is not just physical. For a lot of women, it starts mentally and emotionally first, you know, because we're more of the nurturer type, we're the thinking type, and men are more concrete. You know, men are thinkers and we're communicators. You know, they're thinkers, well, both of them are communicators. It's just, we communicate very differently. We're more of the, we have to draw a picture, we have to tell a story. You know, a lot of us, you know, we talk a lot, females talk a lot, and not all of us, but they talk a lot, they draw the pictures, you know, we put the colors, you know, the man buy the house, the woman is going to go put colors in. The man is satisfied with a TV and a refrigerator, and that's not all men, you know. But, and then on the opposite side, men are more concrete, yes or no. I don't need all that in between information, yes or no, you know, more left-brained, you know. But at the same time, when you're dealing with a cerebral versus a somatic, cerebral narcissists are more about thoughts, intelligence. They want to be the smartest, most intelligent, most powerful leader. But if they have to resort to using that weapon of sex, they will. Once they have you locked in, sex is not a big thing. But the way that they get fuel from you is the fact that you keep complaining about it. So they may go and look for other sources of supply, but they may not use sex to get them. They may use conversation, intelligence, and they're fueled. And so when I was talking about the affairs, you can have an emotional affair and you can have a physical affair. So either or, if you're in a marriage, an emotional affair is just as bad as a sexual affair. And the reason why is because emotionally you can be attached emotionally to another person where the other person becomes almost irrelevant. Your mind is focused on this individual. Your whole thoughts, everything that you think is focused on this individual. So you are having an emotional affair. And cerebral narcissists know how to do it. So the answer is yes and no, yes and no. But yes, they do have affairs, if you consider the emotional affair, the emotional affair an affair, or emotional cheating. Yes, because it should be reserved for the individual that they are in a relationship with. But not all of them have a sexual relationship with people. But if you, and most of you who have been on this YouTube channel said that the narcissist always had affairs or always messed around, with other people. But trust you me, when they go looking for new supply, whatever they have to use, they'll use it to get what they want. So they manipulate and they'll use any tools in their box of arsenal, in their toolbox, to get what they want at all costs. A narcissist is always focused on getting what they want. So hopefully this answered your question. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much. This is the weekend. This is Friday. This is May 31st. And so hopefully you guys have an awesome weekend. I think someone let me know that tomorrow, June 1st, is National Narcissist Awareness Day. Let me go check it out. Maybe I'll come on and say something. I know that tomorrow I have a meeting, so I'm not sure if I can come on. But if I have time, at least I have makeup on. So maybe I'll come on and say a few things to you guys. Just on that awareness day. So spread the news, you guys. If you have other coaches that are on YouTube that are helping you, I know a lot of you, I like Quinn Holiday, and a lot of you guys like Associate Direct Quinn Holiday. Share his videos, share it with someone. A lot of you like Angie Atkinson. I started off with Angie Atkinson. You like Little Shaman. You like Sarah Speaks. You like Melanie Tonya Evans. A lot of you guys have different coaches that really resonate with you and touches you where maybe I can't touch you, or speaks to you in levels that I can't speak to you. But, if these are the people that you like, share their videos, put the videos out there so that people can hear it. Share my videos with someone. Someone in your family may need to hear what we have to say. This is becoming an epidemic, and we need to share this information to, you can't go living in life like this with all these narcissists and you're not armed. You need to have this information so you understand, so you are aware of these behaviors, so that, at one time you weren't aware of it. You just thought it was wonderful. Now you're more aware of it. Regretfully, a lot of us have been injured in the process, but it made us more aware, and now we're more educated about what we've been through. And so thank you guys so much. Share these videos. Thank you so much. If you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'm Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Hit the bell. And I also have a Facebook page, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Hit the, I think it's the thumbs up, the like button. And I also have a professional one, which is Psychological Health Consultants and Services. You can hit that one too, because I post on YouTube, YouTube uploads, and then I also post on Facebook. Those of you that want to become friends with me on my personal Facebook page, I don't friend people I don't know on my personal Facebook page. That is reserved for family and friends, personal people that I know, but you are always welcome to join me on my professional sites. And if you have not already, please take the opportunity to go to Barnes & Nobles or Amazon if you like the Kindle book, if you like getting the book in your hand. It is Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. This is my first book. I'm working on my second book. The second book will be more in detail. Now, I know there's a lot of works out there, a lot of books out there about narcissist abuse. Hey, read them all. You know, each one of us have our own skills. We tell it the way that we tell it. That's why I tell you guys, people are needing to hear the way you say it. Some of you guys like the way that I say it, so I write the book, and I'm going to write a second book to tell it like I say it, you know, the way that I describe it, the way that I, you know, understand it myself. And some of you guys like the way that I say it, so, you know, support the book. You guys go buy the book. Hey, do me a favor, go leave comments on Amazon. I found out that a lot of people are saying that they were leaving comments, but the comments are not showing up. So I just found out this morning as I was listening to another video that sometimes Amazon doesn't post the comments until you hit, I think, 75. And so you guys leave comments, you know, leave a review, and eventually when it hits that number, hopefully it posts. Hopefully that information was correct, but hopefully it posts. If it doesn't post on Amazon, go over to Barnes & Noble. If you go to Barnes & Noble, you can leave comments. Someone left me a comment, thank you so much. But you go rate the book, you know, rate the book, you know, tell me what you think about it. Let me know what you think about the book. You know, where did you find yourself in the book? You found yourself somewhere in that book, but I really appreciate your support. For those of you that have been asking about donation, as again, underneath the video, I'm going to leave links. For those of you that have asked me about donations, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for thinking of me, and I will take that to continue to grow this community, to grow the information. You know, I'm looking for more resources. Maybe I can do interviews. You know, eventually I can get to a point where if, you know, I'm here in the state of Washington, maybe the lawyers would allow me to interview them to see what they know about cluster B personality disorder, especially like narcissism, and what they go through in the court system and what advice they have, you know. But we're going to gather this resources. If you guys know any lawyers, even in your states, tell me. Maybe I can call them, or maybe you can talk to them on my behalf to see if I can interview them so we can put them on video so you guys can get some information. But thank you guys, as I always say, thank you guys so much. Please go to my mentors page. It is under YouTube. It is Helen Sadler, Destiny Helper. She's the presiding prelate of Into His Chambers Global Ministry. She's my pastor. She's my mentor. She's my coach. She's been with me and been through this with me for the past 13 years. And so she has credibility. She understands narcissism, and she teaches it from a spiritual and biblical perspective. And I stick to the clinical side. Yes, those of you that have asked me, I am a believer. I am a Christian. I'm a born again believer. But I like to bring the information to you from a clinical perspective because I am a clinician. I am a therapist. I see, you know, people do not hire me. Insurance companies do not hire me for me to preach and lay hands on people in counseling. They hire me to provide them with what I learned in college. I have to use the wisdom of God to know how to interpret that information to everyday common language. And so a lot of you are with me, and I'm providing you information based on a clinical perspective. She will provide you the information from a biblical and a spiritual perspective, and she has that understanding. She has been a senior pastor for many years. She has other churches under her, and she has other pastors and church leaders that she mentors and ministers to, and counsels many people. So she can give you a plethora of information, and you can ask her whatever you want concerning the Bible and narcissism and what the scriptures say, okay? And then I'll give it to you from a clinical perspective, and that's how her and I partner. And I love that because a lot of you guys that are here are over there as well, you know, and I love that, and I'm glad a lot of you saying that you are healing, so I'm so grateful. Please go support her channel. Let's get her numbers up now. You know, it's time to get her numbers up because she does have a Periscope. So those of you that are looking for church, I say you were looking for church, she is on Periscope under Apostle Helen, and then she is on Facebook under Apostle Helen Sadler. So if those of you guys that would like to see church services, when she does church services on Thursdays and Sundays, or whenever she travels, you know, you go follow her. And then on the YouTube channel, she provides you with the information on narcissist abuse. So, you know, please, let's bring her numbers up. Let's do this. You guys did it for me. Let's do it for her as well. Bring her numbers up because they need to hear what she has to say. I support her. You guys support me. Let's support her, okay? And thank you guys so much. Go be great.